Welcome back to the Shred the Spread podcast. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, for all of the STS family, from ours to yours. Thank you again so much for being part of this awesome community. It's just myself today. I'm your host, Jared. Week 13. This is our Thursday/Friday preview, best bets, props, whatever it may be. A Thanksgiving special, we'll call it. We are unfortunately without Dynel tonight. He had to hit the road for the holiday. He most likely will be back for the next episode, but this is going to be a little bit of a different one. We're going to cover the 3 Thursday football games for Thanksgiving Day, and then we're also going to be covering the Friday Raiders-Chiefs matchup. Now, I do want to say off the get-go, we have 3 contest plays in these 4 games. So we had to put them in early. Dino and I really like to, Friday night get together, make our selections based off injury news, whatnot. However, we did not have the opportunity to do that with him traveling. So we kind of got together very briefly. We like a lot of similar spots this week. So we're going to get right into it early. We have 3 of our 4 games in the contest for these Thursday and Friday games. So, we have the most information. We like our spots. I will tell you the last ones that were left out, the ones we are considering for the last 2 selections. We kind of have our minds made up, but we're not going to solidify it, obviously, until the next episode. I've rambled on long enough. You guys are here for some information, so let's get right into it. Thursday, Turkey Day, Thanksgiving Day, whatever you want to call it, we have a NFC North divisional matchup. The Chicago Bears are traveling to Detroit to face the odds-on favorite for the Super Bowl in the Detroit Lions. Lions are 9.5-point favorites as of right now on pretty much every book. The Bears are plus 10.5 in the contest, and I will tell you this right now. I like the Bears. The Bears did not make our cut. We have the Bears at plus 10.5 in the contest. Listen, don't ask me why we couldn't do it. We just unfortunately could not pull the trigger. I'm hoping that this is just the game where the Bears they can't keep up. So, because I'm going to be kicking myself after, the first plate on Thanksgiving and the Bears cover this game. But, historically, the Lions do not perform well on Thanksgiving. You guys can remember last year especially. We actually were on the Lions, I believe, and the Packers went out there and ripped them a new ass. So there's not too much to like from this game besides the fact that I think the whole world is expecting the Detroit Lions to win this game. And it's pretty much 50-50, pros versus Joes, both sides of the aisle on the Bears and the Detroit Lions. I think when it gets to 10.5, you see a lot more buyback, and a lot of the sharps are playing, and the public too, they're playing the 9.5 and a better number for the Lions. So I expect this number to teeter around that 10 mark. I like the Bears at 10.5 for a full unit. I will be betting the Bears. So if you guys want to jump on the ugly wagon with me, I kind of have it in my mind that if the Bears don't cover this game, they're going to cover, I think, in 3 or 4 weeks when they play the Lions again, because the Lions kind of have a tough path. They're going to run into the Packers, the Bills. Yeah, the Packers, the Bills, then they play the Bears again before they face the Niners and the Vikings. So it's a sandwich spot. So I think basically what I'm saying is if the Bears don't cover on Thanksgiving, I think the Bears will cover at home just shy of Christmas Eve. They play the 22nd. So that's a little sandwich spot, just a little look ahead for those of you guys who like to do the look ahead lines. The number will most likely be the same around that 9 mark. But if the Bears don't cover Thursday for Thanksgiving, I believe they will cover that following 2 weeks. So I asked Dynel, because obviously he's not here, what his props were for each of these games that I'm going to cover today. He also leans Bears. He definitely said with caution. They just keep games close, and Jared Goff in his career is average versus the Bears. 13 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions. He's having trouble predicting Bears props, as am I. The only thing I will say, the best value I can see is laddering DJ Moore receptions. They're going to be trailing most likely, and they're not going to be able to sit on the run. I mean, you got to understand, like, I think a cool narrative here is David Montgomery is facing his old team. DeAndre Swift is facing his own team. So if you want to play them like a two-way touchdown parlay, like David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift together, that'd be cool. I could see it happen. But the one thing I will say, I do like Roschon Johnson for a touchdown. I know I literally just said DeAndre Swift in the revenge narrative, but Roschon Johnson is the clear goal line back. And I just don't see, like, you kind of saw it last week. When they got into the 2-yard line, they were just giving it to Roschon Johnson. Whether it takes 2 or 3 tries, they just give it to him. That's just what this team kind of does. They like to run the ball a lot. I mean, even Caleb Williams' attempts, he's got happy feet in the pocket. But realistically, this Bears team is going to run the ball in the red zone. So I'm going to take Roschon Johnson for a touchdown. I think I just saw it at plus 230. I lost it. I think it was like plus 230 when I saw it this morning. That's just incredible value for a guy who's going to get opportunities if the Bears get in the red zone. So Bears plus 10.5 or better for me. Roschon Johnson touchdown. I also like laddering DJ Moore receptions. Dino likes the 2 field goals. And he also likes the Bears. So let's move on to the Giants and the Cowboys. This is an interesting one because, I'm pretty sure Dino and I, for the history of this podcast, have been taking the Giants or fading the Cowboys, I should say, on Thanksgiving because they are horrendous against the spread on Thanksgiving. I think their last 13 weeks or 13 years, they're 2-11, I believe. 2-11 on Thanksgiving. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they were 2-10 last year, and the Giants had that really, really, really late touchdown that gave them the cover. So, yeah, if I remember that correctly, the Giants covered last year too. But I think the biggest thing for me right now is the Giants basically have nothing to lose, and there's 2 ways you can look at this. A, both teams have quit, so it's going to be ugly football, so just take the points. Or B, Drew Lock is going to get the start here because it looks like Tommy DeVito is going to be doubtful. I don't have the exact news as we record this episode, but it looks like Drew Lock's going to be the starting quarterback, and let's be real, he's probably the best quarterback on the roster. I have no idea why Tommy DeVito was put in. Maybe it was for the fans. Maybe it was to see what they actually had in him because I think he had like a 5 touchdown, 1 interception a year or 2 ago. So they kind of were seeing what they had. He's obviously not a great quarterback. Drew Lock, on the other hand, has been in some situations where he's been a starter. He's had that pedigree under his belt. I like the Giants. And actually, we're playing the Giants at plus 4.5 in the contest. I will say this. We were going back and forth between the Giants and another team. And last minute took the Giants. I just couldn't live without touching the Bears and the Giants because I like them both. And I like the spots, especially the Cowboys at home have not covered this year. And they're just a team that looks awful. Like, yes, I know they showed up last week and played the Commanders. I don't necessarily think that was the Cowboys overperforming. I think that was the Commanders underperforming. I think Jaden Daniels is coming down a little bit. So I like the Giants in this spot. I feel like Drew Lock is getting a chance to just go out there and see what he has left, and the team's going to let him do that. So I like the Giants. I also like Theo Johnson receiving. His line's at like 24.5. Ever since he's been part of this offense, he's gone over this line the last 6 games he's played and actually been involved. So I like the Giants spread. Dallas doesn't cover on Thanksgiving. Theo Johnson receiving. Let's look at what Dino has for this game. So he likes Wan'Dale Robinson over 3.5 receptions. He likes CeeDee Lamb receiving. And he also says there is a prop you can get at like plus 200 of over 2.5 total turnovers in the game. he expects some sloppy football too. I think that's why we both agreed that the points are probably going to be extremely valuable here, and I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. A lot of people usually think Dallas has high-scoring games on Thanksgiving, but this is just smelling like a low-scoring game. These kind of all of these games do, but especially this one. So Giants, Cowboys. We're taking the Giants plus 4.5. Dino likes Wan'Dale Robinson over 3.5 receptions, CeeDee Lamb receivings, and the over 2.5 total turnovers props. And Dino said, there's like the dual incentive of losing with the top pick thing. So like these coaches, they're not necessarily coaching to win. It's kind of like they're just coaching the coach at this point. So he just expects some sloppy football. So let's move to the final game on Thanksgiving. And this is going to be an interesting one. We have the Packers and the Dolphins. And this, again, another game has made our contest. We are taking the Packers minus 3.5 in the cold weather. Tua in the cold. I played the Packers 3.5 at home, obviously. It's part of the contest. And we also... I'm going to play it on the book. So I lean under passing on Tua. I also have bet Tua to have a fumble, and I also bet him to have an interception. The fumble I got, I think, at plus 180, and I got the interception at minus 112. Minus 112. It's going to be an ugly game for Tua. I don't see this Dolphins offense being the reason why they're in the game. I think it's surprisingly going to be the Dolphins defense. So I also lean under in this game overall. Jordan Love, you can it's like a system play at this standpoint. Jordan Love just has so many errant passes. He did not throw an interception last week, which means you could probably get him to throw an interception this week at minus 125. I see the best odds right now. Yeah, at home, I think the Packers handle business, and I think they win this game. I've got them at 4, so we're getting just under the hook with the value. So I like the Packers. Dynel, he likes Jordan Love 2 touchdown passes. He also likes Tua under 241 passing yards, and he likes the Dolphins under points. So we kind of see eye to eye on this. Obviously, him and I taking them in the contest for the Packers, I should say. We're going to expect the Dolphins to have some, like I said, the Packers are going to win this game and the cover, and it's going to not be because of the Dolphins' offense. It's going to be because of the Dolphins' defense, where it's going to be closer than we anticipate. So, Dino, his props scheme the same way that I think, so I'm glad we agree on that. I didn't even realize he was targeting these unders, so that makes me feel even better about this game. We both got the stamp of approval on under 241.5 passing yards. I also like the Dolphins under 20.5 points. I think this is going to be like a 17-10 game. So I agree with him there. So Packers and Dolphins, we have the Packers in the contest minus 3.5. And just basically the whole scheme right now is 2 in the cold. So I'm expecting turnovers from the Dolphins. And I lean under Tua passing as well as Dynel does. And last but not least, we have a 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff because of whatever the rules are with the NFL. Can't have like a game after 6 or some shit on Friday, Saturday. The Raiders plus 13.5, and you guessed it, they made our contest. So that is our third contest play in just these 4 games. And you guys, I really don't have to hit on this too much, but I will say that we have to keep taking these large numbers against Mahomes. We have to, especially on a short week. We have to take these large numbers against Mahomes because we saw it last week for everybody who was shitting themselves when we took the Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers went out there and they went down early, but Bryce Young was moving the ball on this defense. And Patrick Mahomes, once again, let these games get nice and tight, and then it takes a game-winning drive where they kick a field goal. It's going to come bite them in the ass sooner than we expect it. And this team is 10-1, but they are the worst 10-1 team I think we can say. And maybe we're just repeating the same thing that we said last year about this Chiefs team. But realistically, we cannot keep back. Well, we don't ever back the Chiefs at such a large number, but you can't keep backing this Chiefs team confidently because they're so slow. And as we were saying last week on the Best Bets episode, they're so methodical with the ball and they chew clock the entire game. The Chiefs, I mean, they're down there bottom. I think they're bottom 5 on possessions per game total between the offense and the defense. So the Chiefs they just do not have an opportunity. They don't give teams opportunities, is what I should just say. Nice, short, and sweet. They don't give teams opportunities. They don't give teams opportunities to put up a shit ton of points. They make sure if teams go out there and they go deep, that the Chiefs just keep everything in front. I mean, how many times have you seen explosive plays? How many times have you seen the Chiefs get beat in the secondary? Like, it just doesn't happen. They play soft blanket coverage to keep everything in front, and if you get down the field, you kick field goals. And it took a couple of pass interferences on Adam Thielen for us to get on the 1-yard line, and it worked out. We said if Chuba Hubbard can run the ball effectively and efficiently, they will be okay. That's exactly what they did. Bryce Young made a couple big plays. The rookie Sanders, and I think he's going to be out this week. Not the running back, but I think he's listed as a tight end. He's out this week. He made a couple big plays. But, what I will say is we have to take this number, and we will continue to take this number. It's just net profit at this point. So we're going to take the Raiders at plus 13.5. Really, really, really not too much that you can hate from that. I mean, if the Chiefs go out there and spank the shit out of the Raiders, so be it. But I just don't think I don't think I could ever be talked into taking the Chiefs over like 6. I mean, they just seem to not do it. So prop wise for the Raiders, I mean, you're getting decent value on these receivers for a touchdown. What's his name? Trey Tucker. He's sitting at plus 500 for a touchdown. I mean, decent value. Jacoby Myers is even plus 350 for a touchdown. Really decent value. So, Aiden O'Connell going to be out there getting the start. Gardner Minshew got banged up, and I think this is going to be another game where it just miraculously comes down to Patrick Mahomes having to have a game-winning drive. And, there's the back door's wide open. Like, even if this is the Raiders down by 14 or 17, like, the Chiefs are going to give them an opportunity to go down this field and score. So, the Chiefs' defense is good in limiting up explosives, but they're not good in limiting teams from getting in the red zone. So, all it takes is a couple calls, one big play, and, this game is wide open. And, especially if the Raiders go and score first. I mean, how many times have we seen the Chiefs go down and score 3-4 touchdowns in a row? It just doesn't happen. This is not the identity of this team. They play good defense. Their running game at this point has been, Kareem Hunt and then quick passes to Noah Gray and Travis Kelce. And, they have the explosive weapon in Xavier Worthy, but they're even running more and more screens with him, as you've seen over the last few weeks. So don't expect a lot of big plays from this Chiefs offense. They're going to nickel and dime you all the way down to the field, and then if they can't get into the end zone, then they're going to take their 3 points with Harrison. I guess it's not Harrison Bucker. I did the same shit last week. The new guy they got, I can't remember his damn name, but he's just as good. He's been money for them. So got to take the Raiders in the spot, plus 13.5 in the contest, plus 13.5 on the book. Really like their first half line. We've seen this they're plus 7.5. You're getting the hook on the first half line, and we've seen this Chiefs team, several weeks in a row start off slow. Now the Panthers were an exception, but regardless of that, they almost lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Bills. Tampa Bay was giving them a run for their money. So, you can just see the pattern here that the Chiefs are not covering, and the Chiefs are starting off slow. So, we're taking the Raiders with our third pick of the contest. Now, just a brief look ahead, because I'm not exactly sure what our next episode is going to look like, whether it's Friday or Saturday, whatever it may be. I do want to just give a heads up that the games we are considering are the Chargers minus 1.5 against the Falcons, And I think the one that we have come into agreement on is the Bills -6.5 against the Niners. It is a Bills team where that's just going to run the ball to death, or run the shit out of the ball against the Niners team that cannot stop the run. So I expect this Niners team to struggle on defense, struggle on offense, and Josh Allen is playing for MVP candidate at this point. So he's up there. I think he's top 3 and for the favorites. And I expect the Bills to full steam ahead. I mean, they look really, really good. I think they're actually the second favorite to win the Super Bowl behind the Lions. I don't have that in front of me, but I believe that is correct. So, yeah, man, I really like this Bills team this week. I think we're going to end up on the Chargers, so I think you can expect those 2 picks to be in the contest, but I'm not going to tell you exactly because we haven't locked it in yet. The other one we're looking at was the Panthers. The only thing was the Panthers are 5.5 in the contest. I really like them at 6. And then another one that we were considering was the Titans at +6.5 against the Commanders. That's down to 5.5. This Titans team has just been resilient, and the Commanders team is on the decline, so I will be betting that game. I'm not sure if it will make our best 5, but as of right now, the ones we have solidified and locked in for Thursday and Friday, Giants +4.5, Packers -3.5, and the Raiders +13.5. So we've got 3 contest games in this Thursday/Friday slate. You got the props, you got the sides, you've got a couple of the totals, leaning under on a lot of these games, and it's gonna be a hell of a day. So hope everybody has a happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving holiday. Black Friday, be careful. There's idiots out there everywhere. Thank you guys again for listening to the Shred the Spread podcast. Donnell and I are extremely grateful and thankful, as I should say, during this season for everybody who listens and tunes in and shares the podcast, whatever it may be. Still climbing statistically, and we are almost back to 500 on the contest after having a rough 2-3 consistently to start the year. We are, I think, 2 games under 500, so let's clean that up. Let's put that behind us this week. Let's have a hell of a week. Let's make some money. Let's eat some good food. Celebrate the holiday with the loved ones. So thanks again for listening to the Shred the Spread podcast. We will be back either Friday or Saturday with the rest of our Best Bets episode. Until next episode, we'll see you.